So we are starting the program and we'll start with Shanti Mantra. Request Divya to chant the Shanti Mantra.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Good evening and Happy New Year 2025. Our distinguished guest for today's event, CA.T.N. MANOHARAN sir, past President of ICAI, Shri Sunil Bhai Talati, invited guest and my esteemed colleagues. What a coincidence. We have entered the year 2025, which is the end of the first quarter of 21st century. And simultaneously, our firm is completing 2 quarters of its existence. It is with immense pride and joy that I welcome all of you to this momentous occasion, which is one of the significant events to mark the 50-year celebration of our firm. The 50 years mark, which is generally referred to as a golden jubilee, is a time for celebration, reflection, and renewal. Whether in personal life or institutional existence, it stands as a testament to perseverance, impact, and promise of continued growth and contribution. When I stand before you today evening, my memory goes back to the year 1973, when I started my journey for CA profession by joining as an article trainee in Manubhai Ji Patel and Company, a sole proprietorship of Manubhai Patel. During my articleship period, that is from 1973 to 1976, the partnership firm under the name Manubhai and Company was started with 2 partners. On 20th January 1975, that is the date of establishment of the partnership firm. I was qualified in the year 1976. I thought that I would be taken up as a partner because of my relationship with Manubhai, but no, that was the professionalism of the firm that had, and I was absorbed as a full-time employee in the firm, worked there for 3 years. I had to establish my credential and trust and confidence in the partners at that time, and subsequently joined as a partner in the year 1979. So, this is the tradition of the firm which has established over this number of years. At that time, we were 3 partners in 1979. At present, the number has grown to 6 times than number 3. Our growth story truly resembles the famous Urdu ghazal, "हम अकेले ही चले थे, जानिए मंजिल, मगर लोग साथ आते गए और कारवां बनता गया." So our team started expanding over the number of years by new induction of the new partners, merger of the 2 firms, and simultaneously we became the pioneer of outsourcing services to the international client with the use of technology in operations and so on. With the growth in size and operations of the firm, the partnership was converted into LLP under the name Manubhai Shah LLP in the year 2016. So, over these past 50 years, we have remained steadfast in our commitment to upholding the highest professional standards. The milestone of 50-year celebration is not just a growth story, but it symbolizes the legacy of dedication and integrity we have built over the years. The dream of Manubhai Patel, who was a Central Council member for 3 terms, along with his partnership with our past president, late Shri P.N. Shah, who was his friend, has brought this firm to this stage, and it has turned into a reality. What we are today is the 18 partners with more than 1,500 professionals working in the 10 cities across the India. We are serving the clients domestically and internationally, worldwide, in wide spectrum of services of trade, industry, and commerce. We have adopted latest technology in our operations. And above all, we have set up the advisory board, which is comprising of experienced and techno-savvy professionals for highest standard of governance and transparency. Today, as we commemorate the 5 decades of excellence, dedication, and services, we also look ahead to the future with a sense of purpose and responsibility. At this point of time, I like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has been part of our journey over these years. Our clients, our partners, our employees, and well-wishers, whose unwavering support and trust have been cornerstone of our success. The 50-year celebration program started in June 2024 with the eye checkup camp in our office, and which followed by the various programs and activities throughout this period. The programs included the talk on Bhagavad Gita, charity event at Blind People Association, then there was a startup comedy show for the staff members, and lastly, we had also a food fiesta through all over our offices in the country, and where the contribution collected from the members along with the contribution of the firm was given away to Akshay Patra Foundation. Today's program is in also continuation of this our celebration program. And the celebration will end on 25th January 2025 with the get-together of our staff and client, in which Pujya Brahmvihari Swami, a spiritual leader of BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, will grace the occasion and shower his words of wisdom. The theme of today's talk, Tomorrow's India and the Future of Accounting Profession, could not be more befitting. As India stands at the cusp of new era of innovation, economic growth, and global influence, the accounting profession is poised to play an even more critical role. Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and data analytics, coupled with growing standards of sustainability and transparency, they are reshaping how we approach our work. At the same time, it is also to be noted that our profession, which has a glorious past but is witnessing difficult present, it is in the form of increasing expectation gap from the society, step-brotherly attitude of the regulators, and human resource constraint, more particularly in the audit practice. These changes and difficulties will bring definitely challenges, but also it will open doors to extraordinary opportunities. So, today's session is an invitation to reflect on our journey, envision the road ahead, and explore how we as an accounting professional can contribute to building a robust and resilient financial ecosystem for future India. For topic, we would not have found a better speaker than Shri T.N. Manoharan, who readily accepted our invitation and has come down from Chennai. For this, we are really honored and grateful to you, sir. Shri Manoharan captivates audience with insight on navigating complex financial landscape, corporate governance, and ethical leadership. His words draw on decades of experience, offering invaluable guidance to aspiring professionals and seasoned leaders alike. I am sure that his clarity and conviction will definitely keep us informed and inspired. Sir, we welcome you to this land of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and Narendra Damodar Das Modi. Let us give a big round of applause to him. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this celebratory event. Let us make the most of this occasion by engaging in meaningful discussion and celebrating the milestone we have achieved together. Thank you very much. Now, I request our partner, Shri Dinesh Bhai, to introduce the learned speaker. Thank you very much.
Good evening, friends. A warm welcome to all you joined here today. Our esteemed speaker, sir, respected colleagues, valued guests, and incredible team at Manubhai Shah LLP. It is truly an honor to have you join us for this special occasion, which is a part of our 50th year celebration event. The talk is one of the events marking this milestone in our firm's history, and your presence here makes it even more memorable. Today, we are privileged to host an eminent personality, CA.T.N. MANOHARAN, sir. He is a past president of ICAI as well as Padma Shri Awardee. He is going to share his invaluable insights on tomorrow's India and the future of accounting profession. Friends, as Kaushik sir has rightly said, this topic is especially relevant as we stand at the brink of transformative economic growth fueled by innovation, globalization, and also evolving regulatory landscapes. For us as professionals, staying ahead of these changes is not just an opportunity, it is a necessity. Now let me take a moment to introduce our distinguished speaker, whose remarkable achievements speak for themselves. Born into a family rooted in India's freedom struggle and agricultural heritage, he rose to become one of the most respected professional in the field. His 41 years of experience as a chartered accountant and a law graduate have made him a beacon of knowledge and leadership. As the president of ICAI for the year 2006-2007, he has led the profession through pivotal reforms. He also played a historical role in revival of Satyam Computer Services Limited, a case that tested the very fabric of corporate governance. His book, Tech Phoenix, Satyam's 100 Days Turnaround, offers invaluable lessons in crisis management and leadership. Beyond his professional accomplishments, sir has chaired vital committees on taxation, accounting standards, etc. He has also delivered lectures at global institutions and led banking institutions such as Canara Bank as a chairman for 5 years. Currently, he is chairman of IDBI Bank Limited. His visionary efforts have earned him numerous accolades, including Padma Shri Award conferred by the President of India, CNN IBN Indian of the Year presented by Honorable Prime Minister of India, as well as the Business Leadership Award presented by Honorable Finance Minister of India. With this brief introduction of our esteemed speaker, I now invite Shri Hardik Shah, partner of our firm, to kindly present us all to Shri T.N. Manoharan as a mark of respect. I now request Aarti Ben, our partner, to present a memento to our distinguished speaker. Dear friends, now please join me in welcoming Sir T.A. Manoharan sir to enlighten us on his vision and wisdom. I assure you, his words will not just inspire us, but also guide us in shaping the future of our profession and our beloved country. Thank you, sir, and over to you, sir. Thank you very much.
distinguished partners of Manubhai and Shah, seated on the dais, CA Kaushik Bhai Patel and CA Sijitji Patel, and other distinguished partners of the firm seated in the audience, past president of the ICAI, CA Sunil Talati, past council member CA Dinal Shah, other representatives of both the region and the branch, Ahmedabad branch of ICAI, respected senior members and beloved colleagues in the profession. I'm able to see a lot of young faces, which gives me energy and enthusiasm to be with you this fine evening and share my thoughts. But before I venture to do that, at the outset, let me greet all of you a very happy, healthy, fulfilling 2025. Let it be a glorious year for each one of you. Like any youngster, I also began my life as a chartered accountant thinking that family is universe. But now, like many of the seniors present here, we have moved to a stage where we think universe is the family. So therefore, all of you are our family members, and it is my prayer to Almighty to bless you with the strength to change things which can be changed, the serenity to accept things which cannot be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference. Let that govern the year ahead, 2025. Now, 50 years in the journey of a firm is a milestone. And 5 decades of glorious service to clientele. I'm sure the firm, especially, my pranams to the founder of this firm, Shri Manubhai Patel, who must have experienced a lot of challenges, ups and downs in the growth trajectory, which is common for any entity, but more so for a professional organization, because you are regulated, you are also governed by the code of conduct, ethics, values, principles, so on and so forth. So I am able to visualize as to how, from a small proprietary entity to evolve it to this level and guiding it, mentoring it, we need to salute and applaud and commend the efforts, vision with which this firm has been built. And I'm equally delighted and happy that now there is a convergence between two firms, that is P.N. Shah, past president of ICAI, who is a good friend of Shri Manubhai Patel. Also, that firm has also come into the fold. That synergy, I am sure, will take this firm to greater heights, which has already happened. But I'm sure this journey will continue for generations to follow. In fact, I get reminded of one anecdote that happened to me in Satyam experience. A mention was made about Satyam turnaround story. For the benefit of those who did not know about Satyam or follow up that story, I want to clarify that I became director of Satyam after the scam, not before the scam. So that whatever I say, you should receive it in the right perspective. So when government nominated us to revive Satyam, we walked in. We started conducting meetings on a weekly basis because it was an emergency, crisis situation. So a lot of strategic decisions, moves, implementation, all those things had to be, monitored. And we chaired the board meetings in turns. Every week one person will chair. So when I was chairing the board meeting, I had to go for press briefing, because whoever chaired the board meeting had to brief the journalists who were waiting outside, subject to confidentiality, what to be disclosed, what not to be disclosed. So I just gave a briefing of what decisions were taken in that board meeting. And one of the journalists stood up and asked. Of course, he knew me because Taladibai knows that we used to have press briefings in ICAI also as president to the media. So he was known to me in that context. So he asked me, Mr. Manoharan, you are all temporary in this world. I mean, you are all temporary directors nominated by the government. Satyam is a sinking ship. So what is that you are going to achieve? because it is 53,000 employees are going to become jobless, 600 global customers will be left high and dry, and monthly salary required for Satyam employees is 500 crores, and outstanding dues are 2,000 crores, and there is no money in the bank. So, and 66 country operations. So, as temporary directors, what is that you are going to do? So, with all humility at my command, I responded to him saying, we are all temporary in this world, but we can build institutions which will be permanent in this world. We can resurrect organizations which will have eternal existence, which can go on from generation to generation. So this institution, professional firm, Manubhai and Shah, I pray and wish that continues for decades to follow, centuries to follow, and generations to follow, and bring in excellence through expertise and experience, which is the tagline that is written on the backdrop as well below the firm's name. So wishing all that, and it is ideal that such occasions, milestones are celebrated also, because it is a source of inspiration to others who are in the field as to how to emulate such journey, glorious journey of 5 decades. Today, there is no dearth of negative role models. It is flashed every day in newspapers, media, a lot of negative role models, whereas there is dearth of positive role models. So that is why whatever good is happening, whatever positive accomplishment is happening, that needs to be showcased. In fact, I remember one teacher wrote to a parent, wrote to a mother, that your son is brilliant. He has a lot of skills and talent. He'll come up in life, but only one weakness he has. He seems to have too many girlfriends. So if only you can, correct that, he will shine in life. So a mother replied to the teacher saying, thank you very much for your concern and care to point it out to me. But if you have a solution, please let me know, because his father also has the same weakness. See, in the current day scenario, as I mentioned, in every walk of life, what is getting portrayed or highlighted is what has gone wrong, who has committed a crime. Because for the media also, the source of information is from the FIR filed in the police stations, or that kind of a source. So whatever good is happening across is not getting flashed at all. So such celebrations should send positive vibrations across, especially in our profession. So I'm happy that you are commemorating it by series of activities, and more particularly so in today's evening. Now the topic encompasses India as well as our profession. So the future. Now as far as India is concerned, all of us know, as was rightly mentioned in the welcome address as well, that it is at the cusp of transformational growth and marching towards becoming a developed economy. And when is it targeted to happen? By 2047. So when India is going to celebrate centenary year of independence, it would have blossomed into a developed economy. So from that perspective, where it stands today, a lot of things are being done. There is stability at the center, and this is the third term of the present government, and therefore continuity of policies, continuity of the measures that have been initiated, it's still ongoing. In a democratic country, there are bound to be challenges in implementing even most vibrant ideas, but nevertheless, there is required dynamism, push all across, which is taking India in the growth path. Let me highlight some of the things which are inspiring us with a lot of confidence about India. The first thing I would like to highlight, which is obvious and known to all of us, is the demographic advantage which India enjoys. because now even in terms of median age of US population is 38. Japanese population is 49.4. Chinese is 39. And India is 28.4. So it's a young population. While American population is a stagnated population, European, Australian is declining population, Japanese, Chinese is aging population, India can boast of young population, young working population. So therefore, if only this youth are empowered with the skill sets, knowledge and skill sets which are expected in the modern age, in the digital era, there will be no stopping of India galloping to become a developed economy. In terms of technological skills, professional skills, managerial skills, communication skills, linguistic skills, I think youth have to be, and it is being done. It is being done. It is a challenging task because of, there are many youth scattered across the geographical frontiers of India in rural, semi-urban, so on and so forth. And urbanization, or rather these 100 smart cities, is yet to be, fully implemented. So as it progresses and as the education system and the mode of skilling is also progressing, I'm sure the goal will be accomplished. Then the next one, which is the positive for even multinationals to look at India. I mean, no global entity, organization can afford to ignore India in its roadmap for the future expansion or growth. That is because of the strong domestic demand. The consumption market which India can offer to every segment of products and services. And as the poverty elevation is happening, more and more people are coming above the poverty line, and the lower middle class is becoming upper middle class, and affordability keeps increasing. And India basically a saving mindset community, society. Of course, earlier we were 35%, 30% saving. Now it is declining, but post-COVID, again, the mindset is changing. Savings and investment mindset is picking up. Then yet another thing, it's, many sectors are shining in India to compete with the global best in the world scenario. Like, for example, automobile industry. As we know, Tatas and Mahindras, as how they are competing with the best of the car manufacturers across the globe. In fact, some of the last three models or so, when the booking opened, within 30 minutes, 1 lakh bookings of a particular model. So XUV 700 or Thar, similarly Tata's models. So that shows as to how, domestic manufacturing segment is gearing up with international and global standards. Similarly, pharma industry, pharmaceutical industry. We are the third largest in volume, but look at the way we handled the COVID pandemic situation. Not only India became self-sufficient in manufacturing vaccine, administering 220 crore of doses, because multiple doses, but also exported to 104 countries. That kind of taking leadership position in pharmaceutical industry was a goodwill earner even among the countries which depended heavily on India's supply. Similarly, information technology and business process management services segment, that is also blossoming and growing very well, because 51% of the global outsourcing is to India. And transportation, rail, road, aviation, maritime, all these network, expansion is going on phenomenally, and industrial corridors getting established. Now, this is one backdrop about India. Yet another backdrop is what is that we have achieved on some of the aspects. You know, like when it comes to startups, the youth are now made to think, why should I be a job seeker? Instead, why not I be a job provider? By becoming an entrepreneur, by incubating an idea and beginning a startup. So India has emerged as the third largest startup ecosystem next to China and the US. And among the startups, no doubt, you know, in the passage of time, many weed out, some survive, and some excel. And today we can boast of 114 unicorns among the startups, which means $1 billion valuation. And similarly, tourism and hospitality is another arena where a lot is happening, but we are yet to tap the full potential because unfortunately, unlike many of the developed economies where tourism infrastructure is fully in place, facilitating anyone to reach and see the tourist part. Here, that is yet to be fully implemented, but nevertheless, India can boast of being a rare country among very few nations which can boast of forests, mountains, valley views, rivers, lakes, backwaters, snow fields, desert. You think of anything that is there in India, monuments, and therefore, tourism has immense potential if only tourism infrastructure is fully in place. And yet another industry which has come of age, especially in the last few years, is the banking and financial services, insurance sector, because a lot of consolidation has happened, mergers among the public sector. From 27 banks, today we have only 12 banks, and maybe way forward it may end up with 5 or 6 banks, either consolidation or privatization. That is going to be the order of the day. In fact, as was mentioned, currently I am in IDBI Bank as chairman, and the divestment, government which has 45% will divest 30%, and the LIC which has 49% will divest 30%. So 60% will be given to a private, entity which will take control and, carry on. IDBI will become a bank operating in the private sector space. Although RBI has already notified it as a private bank, according to the norms, if government's shareholding comes below 51%, it cannot be a public sector bank. So in that sense, it has been notified. But after divestment, it will become a full-fledged, private sector bank, and it will start competing with the best in the private sector like HDFC, Axis Bank, ICIC, so on and so forth. And media and entertainment is another, field that has come off very well. All this, if you recall, in the finance, minister's speech while introducing the budget, union budget in the year 2021, 3 years ago, she mentioned, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman mentioned that commercial banks are struggling to fund infrastructure to the level India requires to achieve the status of a developed economy. Because the long-term funding required for 20 years, 30 years, because the payback period the gestation period is phenomenal. And in infrastructure lending only, many commercial banks have suffered huge NPA issue. So therefore, we will legislate and create a special purpose vehicle. And accordingly, a legislation has been done. National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development Act 2021 was legislated, and a new bank has been created under that act. I'm fortunate to be a director in that and audit committee chairman. So we are, government has authorized 1 lakh crores of capital, but that's more like a seed capital. So we are planning to go raising funds both in the domestic market and international market with, tap the bond market potential, so that over the next 5 years, the goal should be to fund all the infrastructure projects, be it roads, energy, ports, railways, aviation, all this to revolutionize so that 5 trillion worth of infrastructure is in place in the next 5 years. So with that target, the efforts are being taken. And of course, there are 4 categories of infrastructure that is to be put in place. One is on transport and logistics. Second is industrial and energy. The third is digital and communication. And the fourth is the social infrastructure like education, hospitals, waste management, so on and so forth, housing. Now, this Vikshit Bharat 2047, encompassing 4 pillars, that is youth, poor, women, and farmers, and also, focusing on where India should be by 2047. Today, the GDP size of India is 3.7 trillion, and it is targeted to cross 30 trillion by 2047. But the major issue is not the size of the GDP. It is the per capita income of the Indian that is the problem. Because if you look at the top 10 GDP nations, we are nowhere compared to any of them. So our ranking is 147. We are 5th largest GDP size economy based on nominal size. So a 5th largest GDP size economy, per capita income of is 147th rank, because it is hardly $2,392 US. So that is, but we have achieved few things. Just to highlight some of the index parameters. Health security, we are 66th rank. We have improved a lot. Ease of doing business, as all of us are aware, from 142, we came to 133, then 100, then 77, then 63. Now we are, and very soon I think we can go below or be in top 50. Then innovation index, remarkable progress, 39th rank, and so also in the competitive index. And capital formation also, we are ranked 12th. So these are all the areas where we have grown. But as I said, per capita income, yet another thing, human development index. There we are 134th rank. That's why I said, if we empower the youth, skilling, then it will give demographic dividend. If it is not done, then it can lead to disaster. That is the point. Now, having said so much about India, let me now migrate to the next component of the topic, accountancy profession. Where is it? In fact, as was mentioned, I am from a village, agricultural background, born to a freedom fighter, and I did not even know the meaning of CA, or expansion of CA. When I wanted to pursue, migrate to a city and do the education. And in a lighter vein, when I asked a CA pursuing student who seemed to have failed many times, what is the expansion of CA? He said CA means come again. You will write in May, then fail, come again, write in November. So that was the, but actually, chartered account, of course, you welcomed me to this wonderful city, birthplace of Karamchand Gandhi. When he was in South Africa, traveling in a first-class compartment, he was expelled from the coach by the white man. And so that was physical aggression. But few years later, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, through movement of non-violence, ahimsa, controlled aggression, expelled the entire white man from India. Isn't it? That was possible. There it was violence, here it was ahimsa, so it was controlled aggression. why I am quoting this is CA, Chartered Accountant, if we have controlled aggression, we can achieve anything and everything. And as I have been a teacher, I've been, author of a textbook, so I've interacted more with the students. So I've seen students who have that discipline in the pursuit of CA examinations. In all the 3 examinations, they've scored all India rank. For them, CA is not come again, CA is conquer again, again. So chartered accountants are capable of controlled aggression and conquering again and again in every pursuit, because that is the kind of training, robust training we get during academic pursuit, and also in the pattern of our articleship as well as the academic preparation. Now, Indian accounting profession is also growing very well, just as India is growing. Now, what is the total membership strength as of now? It is 4,28,970. Now, 2 segments, two data analysis about this number. I just wanted to do it for this occasion. So one, I wanted to know what is the proportion of men and women chartered accountants? Because at the advent of this 21st century, in 2000, I remember 8% was the population of women chartered accountants. 92% were men, 8% were women. Now today, out of this total membership, men are 2,99,094 and women are 1,29,876, which means 69.7% are men and 30.3% are women. So from 8% in 2000 to 24 years I passed, we are in the 25th. So 24 years, it has grown manifold, from 8% to 30%. So that is something that augurs well for the profession, for inclusive growth. In fact, if you analyze the student population, you will find that the students' population, girls, students, have long back surpassed this 1/3 which is agitated in parliament, for women. CA students have, with no requirement for any legislation, they have surpassed. So it is 35% girl students, and I'm sure very soon it will become 50-50 or they may surpass. Another data which I analyzed was how many are holding certificate of practice, how many are in industry, in service, employment. Could be even in a professional firm employment without COP. So 1,62,744 are with certificate of practice, and 2,66,226 are without certificate of practice, which means 62% are without certificate of practice and 38% are with certificate of practice. In that part-time COP about 7,000 only, so negligible, so 38%. In fact, when I entered the profession in the early 80s, I remember vaguely that 80% were in practice, 20% were in employment. In fact, those days the opportunities also were less, and chartered accountants those days were used for mundane services, bookkeeping services, because technology, all those things were unheard of. And so I still remember where, one of my colleague who got interviewed and recruited for a job. I opted for practice, he opted for a job, was offered a salary of 2,000 rupees with a breakup, basic, DA, all those things. And there was a footnote in that appointment letter. You are expected to keep this very confidential. So he wrote back, he replied to that person saying, you can be rest assured I'll keep it confidential because I am as much ashamed of it as you are. So that was the scenario. Now when I became the president in 2006, I noticed I could see personally that 95% of those who qualified went for jobs, never applied for COP. Only 5% applied for COP. So that trend was visible then itself. And in fact, campus interviews became the order of the day, I mean, those days. And I've heard parents, I mean, known to me calling and saying, the father calling and saying, I just retired the last year or last month, and I'm happy to tell you my son, daughter got recruited in the campus placement, and our first month's salary is more than my last month's salary when I retired. You know, these are all proud moments of how the profession has evolved over a period of time. From number crunching, we are moving to strategic thinking status. Similarly, instead of merely being input providers, we are becoming decision makers. And earlier, the CAs crossing the level of CFO was unheard of. I mean, initially corporate. At the most, they'll reach that level. But now there are many CEOs who are managing businesses with the finance background as chartered accountants. And now, as all of us know, CA plus has become also a trend. There are CA plus MBA, CA plus law, CA plus IAS, IFS, IRS. So that trend is also picking up. But CA provides that strong foundation to excel in any other field that you opt out with additional qualification. That is what needs to be captured. And sunrise services, profession is evolving not just in quantity or the volume, but also in the way in which, because as the businesses are evolving into new ways of transactional mode, execution, geographical barriers vanishing, digital, way of doing things are emerging, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, cloud, computing, and big data mining, all these things need our profession also to reorient with a technology-driven mindset. Reorientation is required. A lot of investment is required in two things. One is the tools, gadgets, and knowledge sources. Another is in empowering the human resource within the firm so that they get empowered with the modern ways of carrying on the professional services, assurance services. And embracing technology in anything a firm does, chartered accountancy firm does, gives 4 distinct advantages. One is the ability to scale up. So you can render services for more number of clients within the same span of time. Second is the accuracy and the quality of the findings, data that helps you to frame your judgment. Then the third is the speed with which you can operate. And the fourth is the optimization of the cost of operations. So all these 4 are distinct advantages of embracing technology in our field. And the second is investment in terms of training and grooming the talent within the firm, as I mentioned. In fact, in those days, conventional ways of operating, even if we sponsor, youngsters who are in the firm to attend programs for knowledge acquisition, some certificate course, all those things, at least, some of my contemporaries used to criticize me. Why you are spending so much money? I used to say it is not an expenditure, it is an investment. It is an investment on the youth, investment on the talent. Then one friend sarcastically asked me, okay, you train him and he leaves, what happens? So I used to ask a counter question. If I don't train him and he stays, what happens? The damage could be much worse. But actually, the philosophy behind investing in the youth, training them, empowering them, should not be, in my personal opinion, should not be viewed as a return on investment proposition at all. You should not invest it thinking that he is working for me. He will continue to work for me at all. You should do it it's just as corporates are practicing CSR, corporate social responsibility. Every CA firm should practice PSR, professional social responsibility. Our professional social responsibility should mandate investment in the youth, not with the idea that they should stick on to us and continue to render service. Let them flourish, and if their talent deserves a better placement, better avenue, and many might migrate due to personal reasons also, which is beyond their control, different geographical locations, so on. But let me tell you, if you do it with this mindset, lifelong they'll remember you and be grateful to you for what you have contributed, how you have shaped them for the rest of their life. And they will become the goodwill ambassadors of your own firm. Wherever they go, you know, and you should, that is how we should patronize such kind of an endeavor, because unless the youth, in fact, I was so happy to know that as to how the youth, both qualified, semi-qualified, how they are groomed and nurtured in Manubhai and Shah, which is quite impressive and inspiring and worthy of emulation by all the firms. And I'm sure many are doing it. And yet another thing that comes to my mind is the ethical values. As we keep growing, there will be plenty of opportunities, there will be plenty of temptations as well. Because life is full of these dilemmas, what to accept, what not to accept. Like banking sector, they call no KYC. So know your customer. So know your client, which is what we should be concerned about, because any one small incident can tarnish the image and reputation and goodwill. That's what happened, no, to Ramalinga Raju, promoter of Satya. I mean, in the TechPhoenix book, 100 days, Satyam's 100 days turnaround, I have written, I've dedicated one full chapter for all the good things which he has done. Like 108, 104 was his contribution to India. Many may not know it. The EMRI, HMRI, you know, emergency medical service, health service, all those things. Similarly, he has adapted 200 villages and phenomenally done irrigation, job facilities, medical facilities, camps, all those things. Like that you can keep on, but what has happened is this fudging of figures. Fudging of figures, actually, as students of accountancy, we used to debate whether accounting is an art or a science. But when I entered Satyam, I realized it could be a fiction, because many figures were vanishing. Like in global financial crisis also, suddenly American banks realized on the right nothing was left and on the left nothing was right. That led to the collapse, and they had to legislate to bail out, you know, by infusing taxpayers' money. But Satyam was different because it was not a case of investigation leading to confession. It was confession that triggered the investigation. And secondly, it was a public-private partnership. Government said, we'll support you, and gave the responsibility to 6 of us to revive. And the third is not 1 rupee of taxpayers' money was used. And of course, in the first board meeting itself, we passed a resolution. We'll do it whatever time it takes to turn around Satyam, we'll do it pro bono, without any 1 rupee sitting fee or compensation. In fact, many of the clients who wanted to terminate the contracts, I persuaded them, please stay back, wait and watch. Then if things are not going according to your wish, then you can terminate. Tell us, we will help you to migrate. All that we persuaded. Initially, there was reluctance. But after some time, they started absolutely cooperating. So after everything was over and we had a celebrative party, I asked them, what changed your mind? Suddenly you were, they said, 6 of you were otherwise busy. I've landed here to revive a company without taking any compensation. This cannot happen in our country. Maybe it is possible only in India. You know, that was the, so we started giving weightage to whatever you said. So we started cooperating. So that, but actually the magic was, the magic done was many of the employees wanted to resign and go. Premium employees. I'm quoting this because for firms like Manubhai and Shah, and every firm ours, because many established firms, partners are here. So for each one of us, the greatest lesson Satyam has taught me, I want to share is, many of them wanted, because they felt their, honor is being, neighbors, can you believe, finance guys, neighbors instructed their children not to play with the children of this guy because his name is appearing every day in the paper for investigation, inquiry. So it goes, multivarious challenging circumstances. So, but we told them, we are strangers to Satyam, but you are what you are because of Satyam. Satyam has made you somebody in the society. So therefore, this is the time the company needs you. Please give helping hand to us. Let us work together and turn it around. After that, you leave, migrate anywhere you want. But till then, please, we need you. That worked because that sense of gratitude, when it was invoked in them, they started cooperating, and it was visible when clients agreed to patronize on one condition: every week follow-up call or fortnightly call. So after answering all their questions in those calls, I used to ask them only one question at the end before they disconnected: how is the project delivery? How is the service delivery by the Satyamites? You know what was the answer? Uniformly, all customers said, before the scam, it was good. Now, it is the best. So, Satyam employees have taken it to their heart, do or die, now or never situation, and gave their 100%, not 100%, 200%. That kept the clients, customers tagged on to Satyam. So, I'm narrating this to highlight as to what human resource is capable of achieving. If you are, see, some are destined to succeed, but you should be determined to succeed. And like this Gukesh Dommaraju, this boy who became the world chess champion on 12th of December, have you seen his interview in 2017 when he was 11 years and 6 months old? Somebody is asking me, that is the anchor is asking him, what do you want to achieve? What is your dream? In fact, before that, let me say, I asked a CA, newly qualified CA, what is your dream? What do you want to achieve? He said 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I said, can you elaborate? I am not able to understand. He said 6-figure salary, 5 location exposure entity, 4-wheeler to drive, 3-bedroom apartment, 2 children and 1 wife. So, that is the trend. Now, so when he was asked, Gukesh Dommaraju, he said, at the age of 11 years, 6 months, in 2017, he says, see, if he had said, I want to become the world chess champion, I would not be quoting that example here. Because every player who plays chess can dream, I want to become a world chess champion one day, isn't it? But he added one word to it. What is the word he added? I want to become the youngest world chess champion. In 2017, at the age of 11 years, 6 months, when he has the courage and determination to say, passion to say, I want to become the youngest world chess champion, then what you should automatically search in the Google, who is the current youngest world chess champion, who is holding that record of having become youngest chess champion. Then it was Garry Kasparov, Russia. At the age of 22, he won the title. So he was from 80s. I think in 1985 he became that. So since then, he is the youngest world chess champion holding that record. So this boy wanted to break that. It was a challenge, isn't it? Not a challenge in the district or state or the country. It's global level challenge to all the chess players. And how many years he had to make it a reality? 11 years, 6 months, 22 years. So 10 and a half years was the outer limit. But he made it in 7 years. At the age of 18 years, he has become the... So when a young boy can set a target, vision, and make it happen, what is possible to all of us, what is possible to partnership firms like this, which are celebrating 50 years, is what I want to project. Now coming to the concluding remarks, few thoughts I'll quickly share. India was never in the top 10 till 2010 for GDP size also. First time in 2010, it overtook Canada to become the 9th largest. Then in 2015, it overtook Italy and Brazil to become the 7th largest. And in 2018, it overtook France to become the 6th largest. Everything was going fine. Just before lockdown, we almost pipped UK, but things went everywhere after the COVID. So that was a disaster. But now, again, in 2023, we overtook England, UK, and now we are the 5th largest. And it is expected that by 2027, we will overtake Japan. 2029, we will overtake Germany to become the 3rd largest. And then the competition will be among US, which is now 27 trillion, and China, which is almost 18 trillion, and us. So that is going to, and we have this target of Vikshit Bharat by 2047, another 22 years. So this is going to be a very exciting journey. And by 2047, if we are going to cross 30 trillion from 3.7 trillion, how it is going to come? And how can, see, Indian accounting profession is the most approximately connected with the economic growth of this nation. In fact, as president of ICAI, and I'm sure Talati Bhai also would have experienced this, when we toured Middle East, the rulers used to tell us we have prospered because of Indian chartered accountants. Our economy has grown because of Indian CS. So that is true in any economy for that matter. So all the, the prosperity which is going to engulf the population in India cannot be devoid of Indian accounting profession. And if India's GDP is going to increase, sizable share of that should be also contributed by and also benefited by Indian chartered accountancy profession. So from that angle, I'm sure, we have a very bright future. But as I said, ethics, because by sheer competence, vision, hard work, you can reach the top. But to stay there, you need integrity. And that's what happened to Ramalinga Raju. When he did so many good things, one fraud has demolished the entire reputation. So that should not, we should be conscious. So brilliance of few can bring glory to the profession. Competence of many can get a lot of opportunities to the profession. But ethics of all should only sustain the profession, will sustain the profession in the long run. And one generation of India gave theosophy to humanity. Another generation brought about agricultural revolution. Yet another generation made industrial revolution. Yet another generation brought, built monuments. And previous generation brought technological revolution, service sector revolution. Current generation is experiencing digital revolution. What should be the contribution of Indian accounting profession to the future generation? I think we have to bring about a moral revolution so that there is probity in public life. If that can bring in, and there is probity in public life, India is not known as just India abroad. I mean, from the tourism perspective, it is known as Incredible India for the reasons I mentioned as to what all India can boast of. And in such an incredible India, only if there is probity in public life, we can build a credible economy. In an incredible India, build a credible economy. And to build a credible economy, regulators cannot be shouting from rooftop when environment is not clean. Indian Chartered Accountancy profession alone, no doubt we are watchdogs, we are conscious keepers, but our endeavor should be facilitated to be achieved by making the system, processes, procedures, controls hassle-free so that we can really perform this role much better. Of course, our CA Kaushik Patel was mentioning about the change in regulatory space. Yes, there is a change, but it is inevitable. We have to, I strongly believe that challenges are given only to those who have the ability to handle them. We need adaptability. We need to embrace it. We need to face it. You used one term as stepmotherly treatment. I'll slightly modify it. Chartered accountants have always been like a daughter pampered by a mother, ICAI. Now they have moved to become daughter-in-law to NAFRA. So it is mother-in-law approach. You have to gear up to please the mother-in-law. And mother-in-law will start respecting the daughter-in-law when the time comes, when you prove and demonstrate yourself. So that is the equation I am able to think. So let us, that is the right approach with which we should be able to conquer. And for the benefit of youngsters, you know, these three cooks and French Revolution, when the French Revolution was happening, a lot of food was getting prepared for the supply to the soldiers. So these three cooks were asked same question, each one not knowing what answer the other one gave. So the first cook was asked, what is that you are doing? He said, I'm working here as a cook for salary. So his focus was on the salary. The second cook was asked, he said, I'm preparing quality food to be given to the soldiers who are, you know, doing their duties. So his focus was quality of service. For him, why? It doesn't mean for him salary is not important. But he knows if I do my job properly with preparing quality food, salary becomes my byproduct, automatically a right which I'll get. The third cook was asked, what is that you are doing? He said, I'm advancing the cause of French Revolution to the best extent possible. So he was doing the same thing, but with a bigger picture in mind as to what he is contributing to. So therefore, let us not belong to the first category. Maybe as you evolve, you may fall into the second category of focusing on the quality of services to the clients and customers. But as you get empowered and keep growing, focus on how my contribution can make India become a developed economy not by 2047, but at the earliest. And finally, you know, Martin Luther King dream speech, many of you would have heard. Those who have not, you can Google and see what was his speech. That was a speech where he dreamt of racism to be abolished in US, white and black, the discrimination. That is why he says, you know, his dream is how white and black children can hold hand in hand and play in the streets of America. So he goes on to say, I wish this nation becomes a place where my 4 children are not judged by the color of their skin, but by their content of their character. That is his dream, which became ultimately a reality, because an American-born African could become the president of America, which would not have happened. So his dream got translated into a reality much beyond what he dreamt. Similarly, I have a dream as citizen of India. I mean, I'm not Martin Luther King, but every citizen is entitled to dream for his nation. In that sense, I am dreaming. My dream is, as I said, when India turns out to be a developed economy and competes with US and China, 1 rupee should become equivalent to $1. We should achieve that. That is a dream. And when you dream something, there can be an ancillary dream. The ancillary dream is today you can see in all the US embassies, wherever they are located, Indian citizens standing throughout the day, throughout night in some places, we are getting visa, immigration visa. When this happens, maybe in America, outside Indian embassies, Americans should stand in queue to get the visa to visit India. That also should become a reality. And yet another sentimental dream I have is, all these developed economies like US, Europe, they have paid a heavy price. Due to economic prosperity, they have succeeded, but socially, traditionally, culturally, they got degraded, eroded. Many institutions, family as an institution is destroyed. Marriage as a solemn occasion is destroyed. And respect for elders, source of knowledge, all that is gone. That should not happen to India. So even if it is taking one more decade to grow and become a developed economy, let us grow slowly, steadily, preserving our rich tradition, culture, values, ethos that is unique to us. That is the India, that is the Vikshit Bharat I would like to dream of and aspire for. And I'm confident that it will happen. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, words fail me to thank adequately, this great institution, Manubhai and Shah, for inviting me for their Golden Jubilee celebrations, 5 years of glorious service. And I'm confident that this firm will cross many more milestones and bring in excellence, reputation to the entire profession and make us, all of us, proud. All the very best. Thank you very much.
So what an inspiring speech for all of us, and more particularly for the youngsters. Thank you very much, sir. And I think we have some time for question answer session. Those who are anxious to know something more than what sir has said, they are free to ask.
We are impressed by your, thought-provoking entire lecture, but I think it was missed on one important happenings which is happening in the world so far, and it is engulfing our all, social spheres also, that is artificial intelligence, machine learning and all that. And they are going to, have a tremendous effect, not only in the accounting profession, but all around us as chartered accountants also. So what do you want to say on this, please?
Yeah. As I indicated, technology, embracement, artificial intelligence, all those things is inevitable for us to survive and sustain. I want to divide the answer into two parts. The first part is, yes, robotic technology, artificial intelligence is penetrating and is becoming all pervasive. So that is one thing that you should be conscious of. But this, for example, this assurance function or advisory function, the gadgets, artificial intelligence, robotic, all that can facilitate us to reach to our findings or conclusion in a more expeditious manner with more accurate data backdrop and all that. But I am unable to accept a proposition where they can replace chartered accountants. They can substitute chartered accountants. They can supplement chartered accountants, but they cannot substitute chartered accountants because in all the, for example, in assurance standards, and the way in which we need to function and discharge our duty, this demeanor, the word demeanor, and you need to be cautious. Just because of a brand name, you should not get carried away. You should always have that kind of a cautionary approach and vigilant about anything that can be fishy. So that you find out, you come out with the finding, and based on the facts, you come to a conclusion using your human judgment. That human judgment is based on your own rich experience and exposure and expertise. So all put together. So therefore, gadgets can supplement professionals. It cannot replace professionals. That is one thing I want to say. But the second part of it is, yes, just as when online filing of returns came, some of the human resource became irrelevant because they were used to prepare all that and go and file it physically. So online automation replaces the need for human resources. That danger will always be there as more and more innovation, more and more gadgets, more and more robotic technology, all those things are coming. That you have to reorient, but there will be new avenues. See, in Fortune 500 companies also, most of the companies which were in Fortune 500 2 decades ago do not exist there in the list because they have become obsolete. So those who are updated, upgraded will only survive. That point is to be always remembered. So this is the 2 dimensions for that threat. One is security, other one is a caution, a warning. So both ways it has to be viewed and taken. Yeah, please. Here, the mic here. He is coming. 1 second.
Should our institute also upgrade its curriculum to encompass all these new developments in order to groom the future chartered accountants to deal with these kind of things?
Absolutely. Actually, it is happening. Only thing is the pace at which it is happening, one has to be very aggressive these days. You don't have much time. You don't have much space to think and plan and execute leisurely. So that is the only thing. For example, you will agree with me because during our times, indirect taxes was never part of the syllabus. We only studied direct taxes. So all of us practiced only income tax. Only retired officials practiced in central excise, customs, sales tax and all that. But later it got introduced. Now you look at GST, many chartered accountants. One advantage is 2017 when the law was introduced, all were at par. No senior, no junior. Everybody had to learn afresh. Now the seniority is only 7 years old. So from that angle, if it is included in the curriculum, it gives an edge. It gives the direction to focus, to embrace. But many things have come by experience, by adaptability, because today it's a VUCA world. Earlier only war field, they used to say it is VUCA world. VUCA is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. That is to be there in the war field. But post-COVID, and because of all this technology, robotic or artificial intelligence, the changes are sweeping across. And the wars that are happening, initially everybody thought world will come to a stand because of Russia-Ukraine war. Nothing stopped, only supply chain equations changed. How to get the supply of products. So alternatives were found. Now there are other, geopolitical tensions evolving, but people have learned to live. So it is going to be a day-to-day VUCA world. That is, but I think chartered accountancy profession should embrace and believe that V is not volatility. We can handle it by virtuousness. U is not uncertainty. Our understanding of the situation and the gravity will help us to overcome that. And C is not complexity, it is the compassion with which we deliver our services and duties to the client. And A is not ambiguity, it is the adaptability that we have based on the need of the hour. So that is what is most important, because even Charles Darwin said this, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, not even the most intelligent ones, but the one who is able to adapt to the environment. So as the environment keeps changing, we should be able to adapt and what is expected. And curriculum will facilitate that to happen much faster, more in an organized manner. There also on mic.
Sir, you rightly analyze the numbers between practicing and the CAs in corporates. So often, nowadays the young chartered accountants prefer, they prefer to be in the corporate and not to be in the practice, because they see risk from the regulatory standpoint, from the disclosure standpoint. What is your advice, to the young chartered accountants, whereby they can also, like to be into the practice? Because
to their individual mindset, but to facilitate that decision making, I can say a few things. I mean, don't be shy of taking the risk. Don't be shy of taking the risk, because where there is risk, there is more potential, more opportunity, and more ability to specialize, and ultimately may get rewarded also better. Why? See, risk is there in everything. You look at the statistics on how many have slipped in a bathroom and died, but we don't stop using the bathroom. So, risk is there everywhere, but how to mitigate it? How to mitigate it? If, in my view, 2 points what shies away the youth from taking up assurance function, 2 points. One, if you know your job properly and execute it with proper documentation, because audit plan helps you to know what to do, but audit documentation helps others to know what you have actually done. That has to be properly done. No compromise on that. That is very, very important. That has become very, very important for you to demonstrate on what points you have gone through, what questions you have asked, what explanations you have got, and therefore why you dropped a particular qualification or why you made it. All those things become very, very critical. So competence in terms of what to do and documenting it for the demonstrating to others. And the second point, the other dimension of it, which I want to tell you is, if you have done it with a bona fide intention, not with a malafide intention, I'm sure you will be able to face any inquiry, any investigation, and prove that given those facts and circumstances prevalent at that point in time when you took you did the audit, you took the decision, that was the best decision to be taken by a competent professional. So if you are confident of that, then a lot of water could have flown under the bridge subsequently. And the investigation could have unraveled some other things which are unknown to you. Audit is not an investigation, but at the same time, you cannot take shelter saying auditing can never find out a fraud or anything irregular. If you have done the due diligence, proper care and documentation, which by no stretch of imagination could have unearthed something, you cannot be prosecuted or questioned for that, because that is not a lapse which you can demonstrate, and no judicial wisdom will, make you guilty or hold you guilty. So these are the two dimensions you keep in mind and then take a call whether to plunge into that or not. See, every segment has its own challenges. Like taxation, this due dates, all those things is a hassle. Like that, every field and you have to, but go by what your heart dictates, where your passion lies, where you enjoy working. That should be your approach. Yeah, please.
Just some to my friend, just to supplement
Yeah, please, go ahead.
his arguments. As you have said that the chartered accountant in practice are decreasing. I have passed my entire life with the industry only, so I am not biased. But still, so many occasions I found that now, listen carefully, that as far as the bank audits are concerned, why smaller banks are excluded from compulsory audit? There is no justification whatsoever. Simply because banks were not working properly or they were not making profit. Someday RBI has decided that below a certain limit, there is no, bank audit. So that is point number one. Same is the case with tax audit. Even though the businessman is small, why the tax audit, it should not be by a chartered accountant. It has to be supplemented by a chartered accountant. Because by virtue of faceless assessments, the number of cases that a chartered accountant used to attend are decreasing. So where is the, and the most important point is why the political parties are not, because you are a past president of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, why political parties are not subjected to audit? Why there is no debate also? Why there is no discussion also? Why there is no discussion? There is no point whatsoever why there should be. Next point. Why, some of the farmers are having, lakhs of rupees with them, which is evident by their cars and bungalows and everything. Across the board they are excluded. You mentioned that those who are having car more than 10 lakhs of rupees, they have to be, compulsory audit. So what do you want to say on this? I am candid, so don't go by my aggression. Thank you.
No, you are the voice of India. You have voiced what common man feels and believes. But these are all policies which have to be pushed through mass opinion, public opinion formulation, and reach a level where it can be translated into a law or a policy which is to be implemented. For example, this farmers exemption, agricultural income being exempt from tax. It is by virtue of the constitution. So the right to levy tax. So that has to undergo a change. Otherwise it cannot be. So like that, each of the points you said need to be like, catch the bull by horns. Like that it has to be advocated, but acceptance also should come from those who are at the helm of affairs for the purpose of policy making. And if that comes, I think, revolutionary reforms will happen one day or the other. But the willingness to do it, when it will be ripe enough to do it, is a matter of time. So I'm not disagreeing with anything that you said, but I only wish and hope that lawmakers will take cognizance of what needs to be done and accordingly implement. That is what I would say in supplementing your thoughts. Yeah, please.
Sir, as you rightly said, that we are now 30%
Yeah,
in our
women chartered
profession.
accountants.
Yes, and I'm very proud of it. Sir, I just want one advice from you for the women chartered accountants
Please.
who are navigating their career in this accounting profession.
Okay.
How we can work better and navigate, get excellence in our career.
Yeah, actually, it's a very good question because in the Indian society, when women become professionals, actually I strongly believe, I have 2 daughters, both are chartered accountants. So let me disclose that first. And in the early days when education was denied to women, a lot of revolution happened, isn't it? And then later, girls' education, even now Mahendra's CSR project is girls' education. That is the focus with which Anand Mahindra wants to spend the entire, CSR funds. And that is being done in a methodical way, systematic way. Because, see, when a boy gets educated, maybe he gets civilized. That also is doubtful in some cases. But when a girl gets educated, the entire family gets civilized. And with more and more girls getting educated, the entire society gets civilized. And the nation will get civilized. That is the power of women education. And women professionals' life is little more challenging than a male professional's life in Indian community, in Indian society, all said and done. Because that motherhood, that care, and but one beautiful thing, I mean, you can observe is by nature or by God's creation, women's ability to do multitasking is phenomenal compared to a man's ability to do multitasking. So that is what will protect you, will support you, will goad you to move forward. Amazing talent to do multitasking. And of course, the Indian society also is reforming. Even, that sharing of responsibilities, even on the domestic chores, all that is happening. I mean, it's an evolution. So till then, you will have to have little more compassion and passion. And, but otherwise, in fact, in some of the firms, I know, they wanted to recognize women on certain parameters, men on certain parameters. Some women went and agitated saying, why you are not putting at par. But he explained saying, see, I put them for travel to various locations. I removed that for women because you may not be able to travel so much. But some women challenged, I can travel more than what he is traveling. That is individual, but that is the good way in which the firms should support. In fact, in our firm, I mean, not that it is something new. Many of you may be doing much more, but I'm just giving an example. When a women chartered accountant, be it a partner or an employee or any employee carrying, is in pregnancy, the kind of, it is like a family. It's a kind of working hours, there is no restriction at all. And the kind of holiday, all the maternity, before delivery, after delivery, everything will be such that they'll feel at home. They will feel so comfortable. Like this, there are many things I think will be happening, but you don't feel you are handicapped. You are at a disadvantage. And dilute your enthusiasm, your aggression. It is individually, as how your mindset is there, you go full log, and you can find many of the women in the banking sector, even in multinational organizations, reaching the top positions because of that. They are able to strike a balance. The striking a balance between personal life and work life is a common challenge for all, but more for women. But I am confident you will be able to do things. One message I can give you in a capsule form is that all the human beings, be it men or women, but this message is more for women, you are carrying on 4 segments in life. You can divide into any number of segments, but my segments are 4 for easy understanding. One is family and relations, how to maintain that, how to sustain that, how not to lead a life without hurting that, family and relationship. Second is your health. Wealth is gone, something is gone. If health is gone, everything is gone. So how to preserve and protect, because nothing is worth achieving in this life, in this world, at the cost of your health. If health is gone, happiness will be gone. So that is the foundation. Then the third is your job, your career. Okay. Fourth is values that govern your life. Values are very, very important because individually, how culturally you are ethical will contribute to the ethical culture of the firm also, of which you are an integral part. So each one has to be befitting, and unless you stand for some values, you may fall for anything. So you have to stand for your values and principles and norms. So these 4 segments, symbolically, let me say each segment is as a ball. Symbolically, each segment is a ball. Family and relation is one ball. Health is another ball. Your job or career path is one ball. And values that govern your life are another ball. Of these 4 balls, 3 are made of glass. Only one is made of rubber. That means a human being is associated with 4 balls, 3 made of glass, 1 is rubber. Which one is the rubber ball? You think in your life which one you are treating as a rubber ball, which one you are treating as a glass. 3 are glass balls, only 1 is rubber ball. Let me tell you, your job, your career is the rubber ball. Your family and relation is a glass ball. Your health is a glass ball. Your values governing your life is a glass ball. But which is the ball which you pay so much attention, care and preserve and nurture, time, effort, dedication, everything to the rubber ball? For a moment, I am not saying rubber ball is not important. All that I am trying to say is, by giving extraordinary, disproportionate attention on the rubber ball, please don't be indifferent to the glass balls. Because if the glass ball slips, it will not be again. You may refix it. It will not be again. Job, if it slips, you can retrieve it. You can replace it. Maybe you will get a better ball. But you cannot say the same thing about the other 3 glass balls. Isn't it? And let me tell you about rubber ball also. If you handle rubber ball well, that will empower you to take care of the glass balls much better. Isn't it? So all that I'm saying is, strike a balance. Strike a balance. And let me put another positive statement. If only you take care of your glass balls, your ability to handle the rubber ball will be phenomenal. It will become a child's play. With that peace of mind, happiness, support from family, relations, your health being perfect and values governing you, nothing can stop you to conquer greater heights in handling the rubber ball. So that is how they are integrated. You have to look at them. So that is the message I want to leave it to you. Thank you.
I think sir's fluency on the subject, on varied subject, I would say, is so much that all the participants, they are still enjoying, in spite of we have spent more than 1.5 hours. Thank you very much, sir, really, for enlightening us on the various topics and subjects. I think this, anybody else, we don't have time, but still we can entertain one more question, if at all. કે તમારે કેવું છે?
Sir, India is on the
Yeah, please.
India is on the growth path, and it is going to be on the 3rd largest economy by 2027. Considering the present existing chartered accountant strength, do you really believe that this strength can actually cope up this?
Actually, again there, because if governance in terms of standards, quality, also should be borne in mind. And so it is not just the quantity, it is quantity with quality. If whatever way that can progressively happen. In fact, there can be many reforms even in the examination pattern, which has unfortunately has not taken shape. Like professional exams have many countries become online, and you can take it as and when you are ready. Not a written exam. See, the one challenge which students face, CA students face is 3 hours writing in the examination. They may know the subject, but by knowing the subject, they will not get the marks. It is not the ability of knowing that gets you the mark. It is the ability of enabling the examiner to know what you know that gets you the mark. To write 3 hours, now which student is writing in the office by hand? Which student is, we were writing hours together, days together, books of everything, but now everything is gadgets, online. They are working on laptops, computers, and suddenly they go to the exam hall, they have to write. That itself has to undergo a change, online examiner. That is why CPT, when we were both there, President, Vice President, we introduced CPT as online examination with objective type of questions. So case study approach, online with the 10,000 question banks, application of mind. In fact, I wrote IFRS examination of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. It is 200 questions, objective type, 4 answers for each question. If you have made a preliminary preparation, one answer will appear right. If you have made little more, another answer will appear right. Like that, depending on the level of your preparation, if your preparation is complete, then you can identify the correct answer, which is the real correct answer. So that is how question testing, application is more important, not memory and the ability to write. That cannot be the deciding factor. So like that, a lot of reforms have to come. That is what I believe. If that happens, this pass percentages due to these deficiencies will stop. That itself will promote quality outcome in more percentage. In fact, Arun Jaitley, former law minister, when he came to address us in one of the forum, he said, after I completed graduation, I did not know whether to do CA or law. So I asked my Supreme Court advocate uncle. His uncle was practicing in Supreme Court. He asked him, uncle, what should I do, CA or law? His uncle replied to him saying, CA is difficult to pass, law is difficult to fail. So I chose the law. I mean, this is what I'm like some of you, I'm also a law graduate. I wrote all the 20 papers in one attempt and passed all the 3 years exams. The CA's ability to comprehend examinations of other qualifications becomes easier. That's a matter of fact. But the pattern of exam, if it changes, pass percentage will go up. That is my view. And the gap, whatever you are saying, economy is growing, number has to grow, that need not be the criteria. Gap will always be bridged by the talent that it demands, whether it is through CAs or, in fact, when a new avenue of practice came, there was a proposal whether it should be mandated only so-and-so can do, so-and-so can. New avenues should be open to anybody who has got the talent, who has got the specialization. He should be able to. There are certain exclusive areas that needs to be protected, no doubt, but there are non-exclusive areas where it should be open to any talent. I think your mic, those who have the mic have the...
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
My question is on the second part of today's theme, future of accounting profession. So my question is that CA practice in few of the angles is very difficult to scale if I compare it to other businesses that are open for at least newly qualified chartered accountants to do. Even the institute or the legislator itself has also refrained the members from directly or indirectly soliciting the clients or advertising. So that, to my belief, is also impeding the innovation. There are startups, I do not want to name, but just to exemplify, there are startups like ClearTax who assist the taxpayers in filing their returns. They can advertise on platforms where they can reach the masses, but a CA practitioner who is with all objectivity is very right to do that task, but cannot reach the masses by advertising. So what are your views on that?
Yeah. Thank you. See, my view is unfortunately not the view you are expecting me to answer. It is just the opposite. In my view, a profession should be carried on with self-respect and self-pride. It should be sought, not should be sold. And the day you start marketing and unhealthy competition comes, unhealthy practices also will be galore. I mean, like you give me, I'll give you kickback, all those things, in fact, one of the, I was specializing like Taladibai in such cases, settlement practice. One of the most celebrity, was raided. He sent his PA saying, I'm told he is the best. Go and ask him to meet me. I want to engage him. So his PA came and said, I said, if he wants to engage my services, he has to come to my office. After he engages me, I may come 100 times to your office to find out the details, do verification, all those things. That is different. But I will not go and take the case or, submit myself for him to engage me. Till now, he is not my client. So, so that self-respect and self-pride you should have. Advertising is no solution at all. See, in a profession, the best form of advertisement is the satisfied client. One satisfied client will get you 100 clients. And the word will spread. Quality cannot be suppressed or hidden at all. You keep doing your job. And then if you open up saying advertisement, then it will become money power. Who surpasses who. And it will all be media earnings. The channels will earn your significant portion with ultimate, finally you will end up, in competing in an unhealthy manner. So therefore, profession should follow this ethics, discipline. Business is on a different parameter. Actually, current day, many businesses are trying to follow ethical practices because they have also realized, it has to be professionally done. Business also should be professionally run. See, all those, let me put like this, maybe with this we can conclude. Those who are disappointed, I'll be available here during dinner time. You can ask me informally. So with this, I'll conclude. See, there are tangibles and there are intangibles. Any company, any business which values intangibles. What are intangibles? Quality of service or quality of product, customer satisfaction, employee well-being, brand building, reputation, goodwill. These are all intangibles. You focus on this, preserving on this, then you will conquer greater heights. But there are tangibles. What are tangibles? The top line. What is the revenue? What is the turnover? What is the fixed asset base? What is the net earnings per share? What is the dividend return? What is the bottom line? All these are all figures and assets, tangibles, which are captured in the financial statement. If you focus on these tangibles, neglecting the intangibles or at the cost of the intangibles, you will perish. But if you focus on preserving, nurturing intangibles, tangibles will be byproduct. It will follow automatically. You will be the leader. So in my view also, if profession can retain its ethical values and code of ethics, then it will flourish and it will progress in the right way. It will infuse a lot of trust and confidence in the minds of the stakeholders. In the minds of an engineer, architect who has designed this should have had the ethics to design it in the most safe angle. He doesn't know who is going to use this building, but whoever uses this should be safe, should not be affected, isn't it? Like that, chartered accountant who signs a balance sheet, he doesn't know who are going to use it. It can be shareholders, it can be depositors, it can be lenders, it can be financial institutions, it can be millions of investors spread across the globe who are going to acquire the shares in the listed market abroad or India. So anybody who relies on the figures should have the trust and faith that this statement attested by a chartered accountant should be reliable, should be credible. So therefore, if a profession focuses on intangibles like this, automatically the prosperity will flow in. And if that we can secure, then we need not worry about future of the accounting profession. Accountancy profession will become the profession of the future. Thank you very much.
So thank you, friends. And now it's time to conclude, requesting Sanjay Bhai to propose vote of thanks.
Before I propose vote of thanks, just one line. After hearing such an inspiring speech, splashed with so many anecdotes and so many ethical values, can anybody have doubt to find the reasons why Satyam was turned around? Certainly not, sir. Respected Shri Manoharan, partners of Manubhai Shah LLP, invited guests, and staff of Manubhai Shah LLP. We are indeed grateful to Shri Manoharan for having accepted our invitation to address on a very contemporary topic of tomorrow's India and future of accounting profession. In fact, the talk on such a contemporary subject could not have come at a more opportune time than the present one, where, as you rightly mentioned, India is making rapid progress to achieving the goal of becoming the third largest economy, while our firm is also looking forward to go for the better heights in the coming future. Developments in technology, regulatory changes, and shifting business environments are redefining how accountants work, bringing about several significant trends that will shape the future of accounting. The future of accounting entails accounting professionals leveraging technology at an accelerated pace to streamline their processes and improve accuracy and provide better insights. You also highlighted the fact that every challenge to the profession comes with opportunities, and therefore those who can envisage such opportunity and work towards obtaining them, achieving them, they may progress in their chosen area of practice. We are also thankful to Shri Manoharan for explaining the growth of profession of chartered accountancy with the growth of India, which will be particularly more beneficial to the general members of the profession, many of whom are present in the audience today. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning, and other technical disruptions are affecting the practice of chartered accountancy, but they also provide immense opportunities to the young generation who have just recently embarked on their professional career by proper training and continuous upgradation of knowledge. Accountants need to stay current regarding AI developments and be ready to harness these technologies to improve services and add value to respective organizations. With the advancement of technology and the business landscape, accountants are taking on a more strategic role, as you rightly mentioned. The need for financial expertise, regulatory compliance, and data-driven decision-making ensures continued demand for skilled accountants. And that's why you mentioned that we have a very bright future. We should not worry about the disruptions in the field of accountancy, because it will open up new vistas for the new opportunity. When you were mentioning about the Satyam, jokingly you mentioned that there is nothing right in the left and left in the right. Like thereafter, I was appearing regularly before the income tax tribunal over here. So one case came up before the tribunal members, and it was a case about depreciation on a fixed asset. So the person who was arguing the matter, he said, "Sir, look, my fixed asset is there in the balance sheet. Balance sheet में होने से कुछ नहीं होता. सत्यम में क्या कुछ नहीं था?" That was the effect of the Satyam episode, even on the mind of the judiciary. Sir, we were planning to have, when we were planning to have celebration of our firm entering 50th year of its glorious existence, we had in mind such one lecture to be kept for the purpose of educating our own fraternity in Manubhai Shah LLP, and also to open their vistas for facing the upcoming challenges. You have today sown the seeds of thought in their minds, which will help them to think over the new challenges posed by disruptions expected to be in the profession following the introduction of AI and machine learning, which will go a long way in enhancing career for the young chartered accountants. which will be ultimately good for the profession as a whole. The accountants now can focus on developing expertise. This could be one of the more areas for future. They can develop expertise in AI auditing, ensuring that AI systems are transparent, ethical, and compliant with regulatory standards. This specialized knowledge will be in high demand as business increasingly relies on AI-driven accounting systems. Sir, when you mentioned about entire spectrum about the unfolding of the opportunities, I also think of leveraging on the basis of the networking of the firms. And in that respect, I am reminded of one lecture that I heard when I was at Deloitte in one of our annual event. They had invited Mr. Chamling Tenzing. Chamling is son of Tenzing Norgay, who was the first one to climb Mount Everest along with Edmund Hillary. He mentioned, he has become now a motivational speaker. He mentioned that my father had never known any language other than Nepali Hindi. And Edmund Hillary knew no language other than English. But still, both of them managed to climb the Everest together. Then I asked my father, what was the philosophy of your life? He mentions that 5 words philosophy: be great, make others great. And that means you excel and you also allow others to excel in your own field. I think that is the crux of the present day environment. We are very much thankful to you, sir, for having spared your time. And we look forward to more and more visits to our city, which will be very, very enlightening to all of us, sir. So we also are thankful to our invited guests and the staff at Manubhai Shah LLP for attending the event in such a large number and making the program a grand success. We are also thankful to Shri Sunil Bhai Talati, the past president of the institute, and Shri Dinesh Shah, our past council member. Thank you all. Thanks.
And all are invited for the dinner.